What's up, guys? Welcome to a nerdy podcast with your boy HhurnisWang here on the Nerdbate podcast. Welcome. Your boy appreciates you for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get right into this. Your boy rolls solo dolo, so I like to just go over a lot of things in the gaming communities, a lot of topics, a lot of things, and I just like to put my 2 cents in on it. Not saying that everybody's gonna agree with me, not saying that I'm right. It's just this is how I feel. These are my own personal opinions. So if you agree, give that video a thumbs up. If you don't agree, just come in the comments box down below and tell me why you don't agree. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, click that bell, get notified every time I upload a brand new video. And I will be posting this on Anchor, to which it distributes the podcast between Apple, Spotify, and everything like that. So whatever your preferred podcasting site. So first up on the list, I've been seeing a lot of people talk about Redfall, which is a brand new first-person shooter video game developed by Arcane Studios, and of course it's being published by Bethesda because Arcane is sister company of Bethesda. So the game is only set for Microsoft Windows, which PC and Xbox S and X, May 22nd, 2023. I honestly can't wait to play it. It kind of gives me Left 4 Dead vibes. Now, in this open world first-person shooter video game, it basically features a single player and cooperative multiplayer modes where you and your friends can play with playable characters, each with unique backgrounds, abilities. You can fight against hordes of vampires as well as human enemies within the game. So it's basically Left 4 Dead just with vampires and humans. So you get to set traps and just use different abilities of every character and just coordinate with your teammates or by yourself. So one thing that's been bothering a lot of people, or the way how this information is being fed. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. But the way how information being fed to the media with Redfall is that you will need a persistent online connection for single player mode, which basically means that you will need internet for single player mode, which honestly, I'm gonna just say, I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that, because it's a lot of games that you can play that requires internet connection. And one of the games, Need for Speed Unbound, kind of requires internet online connection. So usually, like when I turn off my PlayStation and I go back to it, it kind of asks you to reconnect to the internet if you want to and stuff. So hopefully that's not the case with Redfall. But if you do need a persistent internet connection for Redfall to play single player mode, it's probably like one of those games where it's basically online, so your friends can always jump in whenever you want them to jump in, to turn it from a single player mode to a cooperative mode. So it's probably one of them type of situations. But it's 2023, man. Who don't have internet? I mean, it's kind of small-minded to say that, because a lot of people don't have internet, but a lot of people do who have an Xbox Game Pass and play multiplayer games have a connection somehow, some way, rather it's connected to McDonald's or Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? So I do believe a lot of people will be playing this cooperative, and this is the type of game that you can play making content with friends or streaming, which we know a lot of people are gonna be on TikTok streaming this, Twitch, YouTube. It's gonna be hella content with friends. So this is definitely one of them games that people are probably not really complaining about it, because once people understand that it's just an internet connection, it's like, well, I'm playing it online anyway. Don't really play it. I'm playing it by myself. So, it's just the way how the media was feeding it to us. Is like it's a bad thing, and it's really not. So, I just want to clear that up. I feel like it's not a bad thing at all, man. It's like if Call of Duty requires you to have multiplayer for single player. I mean, a lot of people probably trip on that because it's Call of Duty, but so on. But we're gonna move on from that, and I want to get on the topic about single player games. This is something that touches me harshly. This really touches me because a lot of people have been riding single player games lately, and they've been riding them really bad. And some games receive more hype than new IPs. Like, so Dead Space was remade from the ground up. They changed a lot of things, voice acting. They basically made the story a little bit more gory and everything like that. And I'm impressed by that. I really am. But a lot of 2 games, Need for Speed Unbound and Forspoken. Well, Need for Speed, we're gonna exclude it. We're just gonna talk about Forspoken. So Forspoken is one of the games that I was really looking forward to play, and a lot of people downplayed that game, and the game is not bad at all. It's good, it's mid. Not saying it's trash, it's mid to the point where I'm okay with spending my money on this because I'm enjoying the game. The action, the combat, and everything like that. And I'm gonna go in depth with it soon, but single player games like that has been getting tarnished. And then when you go to Dead Space, you're like, oh my god, this game is game of the year. And it's like, to me, it's just like game of the year is like, damn, it's on January. But 2, this game is a remake because they didn't change the whole complete story. So this game is literally the same as it was back then, just enhancements to the graphics and a little bit of things that have changed. So I was like, cool, they remade it, added a little bit of slight story change and stuff, but Forspoken is a brand new IP, so it's like, you know, we kind of comparing two games that don't even fit into the same category, because Dead Space is just one of them games that hold a special place in a lot of people's heart, and we already knew that it was just gonna be phenomenal once it did release, because we put a lot of belief into Dead Space. It had that hype to be good, versus Forspoken kind of had that disappointment from the trailers and everything like that. So if you actually play the final product of Forspoken, I want to get into it. It's gonna be like a slight review, quick review. So for Forspoken, for me, I'm gonna just be real. Forspoken has been fun. It has been fun. The transversal, the way how you can parkour and just use different spells, and the combat, everything about that is just amazing. But when you talk about the world itself can be a little dull and boring. And I said so in the demo, and I said if they keep it like this in the demo, it will not be good. And they kept the world the same. It's just filled with zombies. The break zombies really what grinds me. It's just they suck so bad as enemies. Like I want the break zombies to get an update to be more passive aggressive, like World War Z zombies, like just coming at you, attacking you nonstop. That would make a great enemy to fight. But when you go to them, majority of the time they're sitting down, they're laying down like they're asleep or something. I'm like, yo, I don't like that. But you do get some enemies like the ogres that really will give you a run for your money, especially like the mutant type of enemies. They give you a run for your money. Those like the bosses you really gotta like put work in, because they will mess you up. But enemies, it just could be more. Like the world is so big, and see, I'm the type of guy, I like to explore a game. If I buy a game, I want to explore that game. I want to explore everything about that game and what it has to offer, especially if I'm paying $70 for it now, because games are like $10 up. So I hit a lot of points of interest. Why? Because that's me exploring the game, and I actually want to be able to collect things and make my character the best version I can make my character. So I go around getting my stats up, getting my bread up, getting my resources up. I go get my fast travel points. I get to find all points of interest. I want to hit them all. You know, I even got an achievement for hitting so many points of interest. So I'm like, okay, that's probably hitting an achievement saying completed all points of interest. Now there are a lot of little dots on the map, and those are basically like your treasure chests and stuff with resources. If they close by, I hit them, but for the most part, I make sure I hit my points of interest, such as like the cabins where you can rest and collect resources and craft and build. Then you have your towers where you can see all the other points of interest, and then you have certain ruins where you collect special notes and, you know, other materials that can help you in the game. You have places where you can collect cloaks, which will give you special abilities. You can upgrade them and give you more health, defense. You know, they add attributes to your magical powers. And then you have necklaces you could go around and get, and nails that have special effects and abilities and perks. So I hit as much points of interest that I can, and doing so, after a while, it can get boring. The parkour could hold you in for so long, but like transversing between the land, because the land is so big, it's like I'm hitting all these points of interest, and then I get bored. So I tell myself I want to go do something else, you know. So if you're not really just sticking to the story mode, you kind of will get bored. But fighting a lot of, you know, hordes, because you will go in one part of the map and it's like 1,000 zombies at that point, and you just gotta go crazy with your magical elements and stuff, and that right there is what draws me in, and that's what I wanted to really see in the world, is hella enemies. You want a lot of enemies, because with all these spells you got 4 different classes to choose from, and then you have all these spells, like up to 105 spells, and you can combine them and use them all at once, and it goes crazy. And the game handles that very well. It doesn't lag. It doesn't like, it's not like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild when you go into like the Korokio Forest and stuff and they start lagging. It doesn't do that. It handles that all so well. Now, as far as resolutions, I can kind of see why people are mad about the graphics, because if you look at the real life actress compared to the game model, not even slightly, a big difference. And I gotta say, the real life actress is beautiful, but the video game version is kind of so I put it on ray tracing, and ray tracing looked cool, but I had to put it on performance mode to prefer a frame rate over resolution, and the frame rate make it look so smooth, and then it sharpens a lot of like the shadows and details in the game. So I kind of stick with that, even though the game resolution kind of like buffers down to like a 1440, and I don't like that. But it's like I said, the game's strong point is combat and transversal style, because once you start unlocking all the other magical elements, you start to really like just become this super power magical being, right? Like a wizard. Gotta say, the first 2 hours of the game was really the slowest point of the game, and I was itching to hurry up and get through the prologue. It was just like I was mad because I'm like, dude, I want to get through this as fast as possible so I can get into the open world and really explore it. And dude, that stuff took so long. Like, being in New York, it took a while, and then the New York part of the game at the beginning kind of left a lot of questions, because your character basically starts off getting into trouble. You go to court, the judge have leeway on her because she was in that same predicament. If you read the notes, you'll know. Then you kind of like going through like a homeless phase, and she got this money and she's trying to go escape and make a new life, and it's this gang who's basically trying to get her to run their missions, and she messed up one of the missions, and you basically had to invade them and escape, and they basically found her and set her place on fire, burning up the money and everything. So her and her cat ended up really being homeless now because they had no money, they had nowhere to stay, and she was living in a vacant apartment. And then she took her cat to the judge, and then that's how she got transferred into the other world, because she saw like this magical bracelet, this butterfly fly to it, and she went to go check it out, and boom, she ended up in the world of Athena, and she just basically like their savior. It's like, I don't want to be your savior, like how Kendrick said, I'm not your savior, but she had to end up being the savior. So the game story is okay. At the beginning, they had like this little girl who grew attached to her, and then the little girl died, and I feel like it was emotional, but I also kind of felt like the emotion, because I'm like, damn, the little girl didn't have no family, and same as our protagonist, she had no family, and the little girl died by the evil chick or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, that's sad, but I just don't feel it. And so the dialogue can kind of feel lifeless. And then one thing I do hate about the dialogue is that it gets repeated a lot. The dialogue gets repeated a lot, and so it's like, damn, do I want to mute this all the way? Because it's like, it'll be moments where the bracelet will literally ask, why do you want to go back to New York so bad? And she's like, New York, and it's because this place is crazy. And I remember it so well because it had got said like 50,000 times while I was playing, and I streamed it the other day for 6 hours. So just in that 6 hours, I probably heard that line over 1,000 times. Seriously. And I'm tired of hearing it. Then it'd be the moments where she cursed and everything like that. And I see a lot of people saying they have a problem with her cursing. I honestly don't have a problem with her cursing, because it seemed like it's a game that's for adults to play. And a lot of people are like, well, don't you want children to play a game? At this point, video games are kind of like anime. It's not really, it's for anybody, honestly. And if you allow your kids to play, you allow your kids to play. Because like anime got a lot of crazy stuff that goes on. And if you allow your kids to watch it, then it's like, hey, you allow your kids to watch it. It's like GTA. Hella kids are playing GTA. And they got guns in there, they killing, they cursing, and all that crap. So hearing the protagonist curse, it doesn't really bother me, honestly. I'm like, hey, it's cool to me, honestly. It's just sometimes you kind of do get tired of hearing it, but I mean, it's cool, man. I don't think it's that much of a bad thing. But overall, man, Forspoken, the story, once you get to the first person that you have to fight, the main boss of the fire element, I forgot what they call him, but I know once you get to her, once you acquire her abilities, as in the demo you had started with her abilities, once you get her abilities, the game really just goes up another level, big time. So it's like when you got your earth powers, like, once you get the fire powers, and you really boost up all those spells and everything before you even go get the other two, super amazing. It makes traversing through the map really easy, being able to climb to higher heights by using these cliff rocks, and you boosting off of it, and it just makes everything better. And then a lot of enemies get put in the dirt quicker, and it helps you with damage rank, because when you use your starter magic abilities, it make you feel like you're so weak. But once you get the fire magical abilities, you feel so powerful. So I still have some story to go through. A lot of people say they didn't really care for the story because of whatever. I'm the type of guy, I'm really invested in the story because I want to know how the hell the break happened. You know what I'm saying? But like, if they can't really explain it too well, then I'm going to be upset. But I haven't spoiled the game for myself yet, so yeah, I'm still going to go. But this was just like a short end review, because I see a lot of people saying that the game is just so bad, and honestly, I think the game is just okay, especially for people like me who really like games to just explore. Because I play a lot of multiplayer, right? When Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out, I played that to the T. Maxed out the battle pass, maxed out my levels, guns, gold, platinum. I said, yo, I'm tired of playing just Call of Duty and Fortnite or Apex. I said, I actually want to get into my single player games. Like, dude, do you know it took me a month to play God of War Ragnarok? Everybody else was done beating it, and I literally took a month later to beat that. And then I still got a Tales Plague Rec Room, and I haven't even played it. So I'm like, I'm taking a break from multiplayer games and I'm trying to get into single player games. I just started The Last of Us Remastered because I watched The Last of Us, but I never played it. So I started playing it right before the show came out, and then I stopped right at the part where you see Bob, and the show literally just covered that. And so I'm like, I need to get back into the game. But then I also got Control. I had never beat because I was spending too much time on multiplayer games. So now a lot of my multiplayer games are sitting in the vault, and I'm bringing out my single player games. So I am the type of gamer who could play all types of games. And I gotta say, Forspoken, if you're just like me and you like games where it's adventure, action, parkour, you like collecting points of interest, you like to actually invest your time into a game that you're enjoying and liking and boosting up your character and making them OP as possible, so when you go into these fights you go berserker mode on them and stuff, I really think Forspoken is the game for you. I think Forspoken is a good game to play, especially when you want to just unwind and relax and just, just detox from a stressful day or so. You know what I'm saying? It's that game for you, because Call of Duty was not. Like, you hop on shipment and that thing will make me want to smash my controller, and then now I gotta go put in an extra hour overtime at work to go buy me another controller. You know what I'm saying? But Forspoken is pretty good. It's dope. So if you're looking to get Forspoken, pick it up, because as you can see right here, if you're watching the video version, I got the steel case the other day from Best Buy. So I had got it from Best Buy, pre-ordered, and once you pre-order it came with the steel case. So pretty dope. I like it. It's amazing, and I like to collect my steel books, so I had to make sure I get that steel book for that. So now we moving on. Still, if you're looking at the video, as you can see, I had went and picked up Need for Speed Unbound. That's another game I want to do a quick review on. So I was hearing a lot of bad things about Need for Speed Unbound, like the anime style and everything, and I just gotta say that was one of the biggest things for me, was the anime style. And I was like, man, I don't want this game because of the anime style. It's getting on my nerves how this keep popping up on the screen when you're speeding, you're drifting. I was like, I can't get with this stuff. Then the characters, I'm like, oh, this stuff look like it's gonna be trash. The game comes out, I didn't even bother to pick it up. It was off my radar. Then one of my homies had picked it up, and he was playing it, and it sounded like he was having fun with it. And I always been the person to say, I can't talk about a game if I don't personally play that game, unless I'm just really watching YouTube videos of the game. And I'm at that age now where I'm 28. So it's like, at 28 compared to when I was 18, I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos no more, So I haven't really been watching a lot of videos of it. And so since my homie was telling me about the game earlier this week, I started watching videos, and I started seeing a lot of people playing them. And I started seeing like the graphics. Oh my God. The graphics are amazing. Top tier amazing. The cars, the rain, the world, the sun, the night, day cycle, it just looks so amazing. And then you look at the anime characters and you just think, they alright. I mean, would I prefer it to be actual people? I'm like, yeah. But you know what? They probably had to use that anime style versus like the graphics style that they use for the cars and stuff, because it probably was like less costly or something. Who knows? Or maybe they just trying to appeal to a whole new crowd, a younger generation who's really into anime, and they want to get them into like an anime style racing game and not really jeopardize like the whole game being anime style. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can understand why they did it, but I honestly don't think that's the bad part of the game. I don't. I think the bad thing about the game is like little problems with it. So let's go ahead and break it down. So in Unbound, you start off, you pick your starter car, you have a friend, y'all race. She basically set up your garage to get robbed, so all the crucial cars get stolen. You and this dude basically become best friends. You work for him for the next 2 years. Then the racing basically disappeared because the mayor of the town got rid of it, and then everybody just started coming back racing against, the mayor and stuff. So now you're back on the scene. Oh, girl still got your car. She's racing on the scene with your car. You got to basically go to like the final race to get your car back and beat her, and basically just show her up like you the best racer and all that jazz. So I'm like, okay, story pretty cool. It's alright. You got A$AP Rocky in there. I like that. And then a lot of the music tracks are dope as hell, like super dope. But just having Rocky in there, I think it's pretty dope. His car, the BMW, I think that mud looks super clean. It looks super nice, and you can win it somewhere down the line. I just don't know when. But so here's my problem with Need for Speed Unbound. Here's some of the bad. I'm gonna just start with the bad. You can't just reset your car when you want to. Yeah, I got stuck between a building, and I basically had to quit out the game and go back into story mode versus just pressing the button to restart my car. Couldn't do that. I hated that with a passion. That just happened to me right before like even doing this podcast. So I was like, yeah, that sucks. Another problem is every single race you go through have the same freaking NPCs. with the same freaking cars. And I just feel like we do these missions where you go pick up somebody else's car who has too much heat on it, and you drive it to a point and deliver that car off, because basically it's like the people are too scared to invade the police themselves. So you see all these different cars that you drive, and then I start thinking like, well, if I'm driving this person's car, how come I don't even see them in the race? So it's always the same people. You got some guy named Obi, Guan, Juan, Del Rey, and just it's always the same people, and that's kind of annoying. Then the nitro system on here, they do have like auxiliary where you can upgrade your nitros and everything. But I just feel like every time you hit your nitros, the other players tend to move a little bit faster when you use your nitros. And it'd be crazy because I'm like, I like hard racing games because it make you really want to like get better and like tune up your car and everything. But something about Need for Speed races be getting me sometimes. Like random cars that are driving on the road will literally stop and turn sideways. Literally just stop and turn sideways. Nobody hit them. Nobody came near them or nothing. They just turn and block the road for no reason. Or you have some who would just turn and like drive into you. So I'm like, damn. So now I gotta worry about the racers trying to knock me off the road, the police, and the random NPC cars. Yo, this is not a good thing. Like, I was in the race and the car literally just went 3 lanes. He was 3 lanes to the left and just cut all the way to the right, crashed to the wall, and made me crash out. I'm in first place. Crash out, came in 8th place. You have a set of restarts that you can use throughout the whole day and night. So you get 4 of them. So I was upset because I was like, do I risk using my restart for this race? Or do I just go ahead and take the L and go on by my day? I had to take the L and go on by my day because I had 1 restart left, and the next race was giving out more money than I planned on doing. So yeah, but I just hate that you go through the same races. That like really is the bad thing that I just don't understand. And another thing was like the multiplayer. It's like you literally have a split between multiplayer and single player. I'm like, I could grind out on multiplayer, but I kind of would have wished that they would just tune them into one like they did before. And you know, that way I wouldn't have to like feel like shit, I gotta start all over on multiplayer too. I might as well just keep playing single player or I might as well stop playing single player and just focus on multiplayer, because it's like they're 2 different things. But for me, that's little stuff. Another thing is like when you go off-road, that stuff really is trash. Like the off-road for the map is just so crazy, and the design for the off-road is just like, it's very rough. And so you could be going through a lot of trees and then be like that one branch that'll catch you and knock you off, or a little bump rock and you hit that and you just flip over. And now when you go flying and stuff like that, your car feels so weird. It feels weird. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like you could be flipping out and like your car could be coming down and going to the side, and it feels so stiff. Like you just can't even try to flip your car over nothing. And like I said, you can't restart your car until the game just really feel like you're stuck on your side or your back. So if your car is doing this and you just sitting there, it will make you wait before it restarts you, or you just miss a checkpoint and it restarts you. But those are some of the bad things I just don't like about the game. But other than that, I think the game is good. I think it's a good pickup. Now, is it $70 pickup? Nah, not for me. Honestly, I got it for $40 at Best Buy. It was on sale for $39.99, and I got it for $42.99. So I was like, I'd rather pay that than $70 for it. But I have been enjoying it. Me and my brother Tisa, we've been playing it, and it's fun. There's a lot of irritating things about it, but it's fun. So if you skipped out on it because of all the negative reviews and the anime style stuff like that, I think you're tripping, and I think you should play it for yourself. That's the only thing about single player games. That's the only thing about new IPs or, you know, existing IPs or whatever continuations. It's just when it comes to new IPs or IPs that are getting a continuation, I have to play it for myself at this point now, because I'm so busy I can't really just get real in tune into videos. So I have to go and get these games and play on myself. People are like, oh, you spent $70 on that? Don't worry about what I spent my money on. Just worry about if I'm enjoying the game or not. Don't worry about what I spend my money on. Worry about if I'm enjoying the game or not. So like with Forspoken, people are like, you really paid $70 for that? Why not ask me if I'm really enjoying it instead of if I really spent my money on it? Yes, I spent my money on it because I was invested into it. How can you be invested into a new IP? Just like how I was invested into Dead Space when it first came out. You saw the trailers, you decided you was gonna pick it up. I saw Forspoken and played the demo, and I still decided I was gonna pick it up and give it a try. Just like when Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild came out, I said I'm sold on it already because Zelda is one of my favorite franchises. Just like when Control came out, people saw that trailer, people got invested, and they went to go buy it. So there's no reason to ask or like no way to just try to downplay a game that bad. You have to try it to see if you're gonna like it or not. Because what I like, you might not like. What I eat might not make you shit, and what you eat might not make me shit. So it's simple as that. Yeah. So moving on from video games, we're going into television, and boy, the TV world and the companies and the industries has been getting real crazy. So I had to write right here on my little notebook, my handy dandy booklet. You know what I'm saying? One of my most favorite Disney cartoon shows got revived. Shout out to Disney, man. And the show is returning with its original creator. And that show will be Phineas and Ferb. That's right, guys. We will be able to see Perry the Platypus make his return to the screen with the boy Phineas, Ferb, and the gang. Candace with her crazy dancing and snitching. Oh my God, I can't wait for it, man. I don't know where they're going to take this, but it's with the original creator. And I just hope that it be as amazing as it was when it first released. Now, with Phineas and Ferb being revived by Disney, I had to go to one of my favorite networks, which was Cartoon Network. Just gotta be real with y'all. Cartoon Network always had me as a kid. That was always on Boomerang and everything. Disney, I love Disney and Nickelodeon, but Cartoon Network is just that's my home. So I said, what shows can be revived for Cartoon Network? And I have a list right here, and I just want you guys to tell me y'all list in the comment box down below. But my top 5 off rip, I gotta get that Ed and Eddie, man. That's my number one. That was my number one show, man. Every day coming home, Saturdays reruns. I wanted to see Ed and Eddie so bad, bro. That was my show. Real Jimmy, the crew, Ed, Kevin, Sarah, just bro, everybody. I love that show. Even Ralph. You take away from Mama's sweet cabbage patch. Y'all, it's like that was my favorite show, dude. Like Ralph was my favorite character because he'll be like, wobble-headed Ed boy, what are you doing in Mama's patch? It would be funny. Like I remember he busted in, it was like, Ed boy. Who's responsible for the Ed boy? The stupid one. I'm cracking myself up. But man, on my list, I got Ed, Eddie. Secondly, man, I got Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo, the reason I say Johnny Bravo is because if you didn't see the new Velma show where they tried to do like a adult theme around that, I just feel like that was like the worst idea possible because they tried to make it too much like the Harley Quinn show. And I just feel like they could have just really kept it on the kid level and just really like, the story could have been so much better. The characters could have been better. Everything about that show could have been better. But I feel like Johnny Bravo is the perfect show to bring with adult content to it, to HBO Max. And not with that Harley Quinn type shit. Leave Johnny Bravo alone. It was good as it was. So bring Johnny Bravo back. And I swear to God, it would be amazing. I think people would really love if Johnny Bravo came back with just the adult content. Because it was already like a dirty cartoon show already, man. We just didn't know as kids. But our parents knew. And they enjoyed watching it. So, you know what I'm saying? Camp Lancelot, that's definitely a show I used to love. Man, I just loved the adventures, the camps going against each other, everything like that. The little platypus duck looking dude, like his smart ass mouth and shit. That was always funny. And if you're not old enough to remember the old Cartoon Network commercials, dude, it used to be funny when he was doing like they was doing like the ticket stamping at the movie theaters, and Eddie snuck in by lying saying that they was Foster's imaginary friends with Mac. And so when Blue and them showed up, they said they was Foster friends, and the two brothers that were dumb, I can't think of their names, and the platypus dude walked up, was like, hey, where are they tickets at? And he starts spazzing out, and they just throw them in the trash can. Next up, Dexter. I definitely feel like we could get a Dexter remake, man, or just a revival. Dexter will go so hard right now. I think a lot of kids will even gravitate to that a little bit, a little bit. Foster Homes for Imaginary Friends, I definitely would like to see a revival of that, man. That show was just dope. Like Blue Guard, funny. Cheese, annoying. Waldo was my favorite, man. He was just so funny. And then you got Wilt. The show was crazy. It was amazing. A lot of people love that show. It'd be dope if they could revive it. Courage the Cowardly Dog. I just think that it would feel weird without the original Miro voice actor. She passed away, I think, in 21 or 22. So they did come out with a Courage and Scooby-Doo mashup movie last year or two, and that was dope. We have, this show right here gotta get remade, bro. Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Hey, we need that off real. And I ain't gonna even cap you. That show was already like on a R-rated level, bro. Like, that show had some scenes that was questionable. And you already know who I'm about to say my favorite character is. That boy Billy was my favorite character. That boy had no filter. That boy didn't care. That dude was wild. Bro, I remember he told the football player, I thought you was bad. You ain't bad. You ain't nothing. That was my favorite scene. And you probably seen it on TikTok too, especially like with the Tom Brady meme and stuff. Crazy. Then we got Kids Next Door. Of course, a lot of people love that. We even had a group called Agency where we used to like call ourselves like certain numbers and stuff, like number 7, number 8, number 2, and stuff like that. My gym partner is a monkey. I love that show. I don't know why, but I just loved it. It was funny. I can't even think of none of the characters. I know Adam was a character, but the rest I can't really remember the names because last time I really saw that show was back when it first aired. I don't even think you could watch it online anywhere. So it's like I couldn't even rewatch it if I wanted to. Then you got Totally Spies. The only reason I put Totally Spies on here because I thought it was a real dope show. It was like a Charlie's Angels animated show. So I think like if they was to redo it right now, and I could see it going on HBO Max, but I could definitely see like Netflix trying to get like rights to it because it kind of just fit into the cartoon, list that they have and stuff. Because they got that girl show, which is like the girl version of Ed and Eddie. Another show, Chowder, that was dope. With my boy, but Chowder was just crazy, man. That show there was like the Uncle Grandpa before Uncle Grandpa, and it didn't go that crazy, but Chowder had some wild moments, dude. And lastly, this show, I need a big revival for this because it's like it's a lot of stuff that they could fill in with the time of when the show ended and how like the characters got their end. Regular show, everybody want a regular show revival, and I really feel like regular show is gotta be that show. Like they had the show on HBO Max. I can't even think of the name of it right now, but that show was rated R. Like they was cursing everything on there. I just feel like we need regular show to come back, but like that. You know what I'm saying? And they could really start off like on some type of prequel stuff to like the kids and everything. Because after Pops died, they had grew apart. They went different ways. They had got families. They came back to the park. They built the park back up. They put Pop's statue up. They put Mr. Moon's statue up. And they just had their families and everything. So I was like, it'd be dope to see how they got up to that level. But also really just going up into the kids' lives and everything like that and just bring the crew back together. And it would be dope to have that, you know what I'm saying? And I could just see like Mordecai and Rigby going on some crazy adventures with their kids and stuff. But as far as cartoon revivals, man, that is it. If I was to do a Nickelodeon list, let's see. Nickelodeon, what shows y'all got that I want? They tried to do the Rocko Modern Lifestyle. They did a movie on that one. Got that. Jenny the Robot, Teenage Robot, that show was dope. Definitely could get a revival on that. But I don't really remember too many Nickelodeon shows. I mean, SpongeBob is still on the air and going strong. Then when it comes to Disney, they had that one show with Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. That show was funny. I love that show. That show was dope. But if there was any cartoon revival that you guys would want to see, comment in the comments box down below. Tell me. And anything from this episode of the podcast that you guys want to talk about, comment in the comments box down below. I'm going to drop my links to where you guys can hit me up on the socials. We can discuss some things, game and all the other good jazz. Your boy Hurnis is out this thing. Y'all boys be easy out there and stay safe, man. And remember, if there's a new game and you want to play it, just play it yourself. Don't take other people's words because everybody on social media really is just going to gravitate to the hate train because everybody's always looking for a new punch bag on the internet. And around this time right now, Forspoken is that punch bag. So you just got to hop on the train and play it yourself. Peace out.